This is the locking mechanism from the tailgate of the Audi. So usually when you're facing the tailgate of the car, it will be like this, and there's a plastic boot that covers this metal part. And then there's a metal bar that this latch grabs onto when you close the trunk, just like that. And this holds the latch that's built into the frame of the car in place. Now, this lock had stopped working, as it turns out, ultimately, because there was this tiny little piece of glass in it that had clogged up the machine works. I assume at some point the rear window of the TT was broken, and this is one of the pieces of glass. This part here is the emergency release, so it's in the locked position now, and a wire would be attached to this. And if you move it all the way over here, you can see it unlocks the latch. Now, I've already taken the screws off this part. This is the internal machineries. There's a little electrical motor, and that motor turns this piece. And let me go ahead and lock it again so it'll be clear what's happening. Just put this in here, and it's locked. So when you unlock the car, this motor activates, and it turns. You'll see that on this wheel, there's this little, not notch, but part that sticks out, and it moves this other little silver piece in here that I'm touching with the screwdriver. You can just barely see it. And so I'm going to hold this side of it down, because usually that side would be held by this plate. So when you go to unlock the car, this motor activates, makes this this piece kind of expand and move that little bar up against that plastic piece that I was pointing to earlier, and then unlocks the car. And that can just swing back into place when tension is released from the motor. What had happened was that piece of glass I had showed you earlier had forced this piece to become stuck over here. And so no matter what you did when you closed the trunk, I'm going to hold that piece over there. Let's see if I can do this. I don't have enough hands or arms. This latch won't trigger as long as that piece is over there. This piece is spring loaded and always slides back over here. When it slides back over there, that's not a good angle. When it slides back over there, you can lock the car. But unlock it again. When it is all the way over here, there is no way for this to latch. It just won't do it. Probably because of some internal mechanisms that we can't see, because unfortunately, as was the case in the VW and maybe most cars, I don't know, this plastic piece is placed in this metal piece, and then you can see here and here where the metal piece is kind of wrapped around and bent in place around the plastic, and then it's either arc riveted or something like that here and here, and then on the other side. So it's become one solid piece. You're not meant to take this thing apart and work on the internals anymore. It's a single replaceable piece at this point, once it's all machined together. But what I discovered with that piece stuck over there after I took the motor cover off, is that by jiggling that piece a little bit, not intentionally, but just as I was trying to figure out how the whole thing worked, I noticed that there was something kind of, keeping the little, clear plastic piece stuck. And by jiggling it, I inadvertently loosened this piece of glass. And then when it slid out of place, I kind of shook the whole thing. I could hear something rattling around, and I shook it enough until this little piece of glass came out. And I think the thing is otherwise intact now. It doesn't rattle or anything. So that is a problem fixed. And if you're wondering what the benefit was, it took me, I don't know. I'd never done it before, so about an hour and a half to get the trim off of the back of the tailgate so I could actually get to the lock and unbolt it. I could probably do that in 30 minutes now that I know how it's done. And then it maybe took me another 30 minutes to fix the lock. If I had to buy a new one of these locks, they retail for about $270. And if I had a dealership or a mechanic put it in at approximately $150 an hour for labor, I can easily imagine, and I'm assuming they knew what they were doing, I can easily imagine this being a $500 job, which I have paid nothing for, but will ultimately probably consume about, I don't know, 3.5 hours of my time.